This video is going to show you how to subnet by hosts or PCs. In a previous video, I showed you how to subnet by locations. The process is basically the same, but now we're working with PCs, so we're working right-hand side of the line, and we're working with our zeros. So first thing you need to know is how many PCs your requirement is. And either you need to figure that out by adding up the number of PCs in each location, or they may just tell you. In this example, I'm just going to tell you. Let's pretend that we need at least 25 PCs in each location. So I don't care how many locations I get out of this. I'm just concerned that each location has at least 25 PCs or 25 addresses that I can assign to PCs, printers, or other devices that will take an IP address. So what I do now is I ask myself, 2 to what power is going to give me at least 25? Well, here's our chart again. We use this chart for all subnetting. And what I would use is 2 to the 5th. 2 to the 4th is not going to be enough, and 2 to the 6th is too many. So I'm going to use 2 to the 5th here. What this 5 is telling me this time is I'm going to have 5 zeros right-hand side of the line. I'm working PCs, working zeros right-hand side of the line. So now what I like to do is draw out my IP address with my 5 zeros right-hand side. I'm given the 192.168.1.0/24 to start off with. So here comes my 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw my line. 6, 7, 8. So I'm kind of working it a little bit backwards with my PCs. But now my process is exactly the same as it was before. Figure out your first network by putting all zeros. And again, it's always going to start with 0. Then make your right-hand side ones to figure out what your broadcast is. And now this number I just put in the box here. I don't have a 128. I don't have a 64. I don't have a 32. But I do have the 16, the 8, the 4, the 2, and the 1, which is 31. So now I know that my difference is going to be 31 for every single range. 1 more than 31 is 32. Add 31 onto 32, that gives me 63. I can see I have a difference of 31 in each one of these ranges. 1 more than 63 is 64. Add 31 onto that, that's 95. 1 more than 95 is 96. Add 31 onto that, that's 127. 128 through 159. 160 through 191, 192 through 223, and 224 through 255. The subnet mask for each one of these ranges is, again, always right up here at the top. I'm going to be circling this. Here's my 25th, my 26th, and my 27th one. So it's a slash 27. I started with the slash 24, so I had 24 ones in my subnet mask. That's what the slash means. The slash is telling you how many ones you have in your subnet mask. So I started with 24. Here's my 25th, 26th, and 27. Convert this number back that I have circled into decimal, and that is 22255 dot 224. A 128, a 64, and a 32 is 224. So the process is basically the same, except we're working zeros and right-hand side of the line. Now where it gets a little bit different with our PCs is when we're figuring out our power number, we cannot be right on or 1 below. And the reason is because I can't use 2 of the addresses that I come up with. I can't use this for a PC because it's a network ID, and I can't use this because it's the broadcast. So if I told you that I wanted you to subnet this for 15 PCs, you may be thinking to yourself, for 15, I can use 2 to the 4th. Well, actually, I'd end up being short, because if I use 2 to the 4th, I'd have 4 zeros right-hand side. And when I figure out my first range, I'd have 0, through 8 to 4, 2, and a 1 is 15. I have 0 through 15, but I can't use this one because it's a network ID, and I can't use this one because it's the broadcast. So I only have 1 through 14 that I can assign to hosts. And I told you my requirement's 15, so I end up being 1 short. So what I need to do when I'm figuring out my power numbers for PCs, I need to subtract 2 off of these numbers. So if my requirement was 15, I would have to bump up and use 2 to the 5th. If I told you that I needed, let's say, 8 PCs in each network, 8 PCs in each network. Again, I cannot use 2 to the 3rd, because with 2 to the 3rd, I would get a range that looks like 0 through 7, which only gives me 1 through 6 for PCs. I only have 6 PCs that I can use on each network. And my requirement was 8, so I end up being short. So I'd have to bump up to 2 to the 4th. So again, with our PCs, make sure you subtract 2 off of those numbers, and that reason is because we can't use this, that's the network ID, and I can't use that, that's the broadcast. But after that, the process is pretty much exactly the same. Let's do one more example for PCs here quick. Let's pretend that I need 32 PCs in each location, 32 PCs. So I ask myself, 2 to which power is going to give me at least 32? You may be thinking 2 to the 5th, but again, you can't because I have to subtract 2 off of this because I can't use the first, I can't use the last. But I have to use 2 to the 6th. So what that 6 is telling you is 6 zeros right-hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw my line, 7, 8. Figure out my first network ID by putting all zeros below this. That's 0 through, make all 1s on the right-hand side. Ask myself, what is this number that I have underlined? Well, it's a 32, a 16, an 8, a 4, a 2, and a 1, which is 63. So now I know I'm going to have a difference of 63 in each one of my ranges. 1 more than 63 is 64. Add 63 onto 64, it's 127. 1 more than 127 is 128. Add 63 onto that, that's 191. And then 192 through 255. Subnet mask for every single one of these locations. Again, always right up here at the top. That is a 128 and a 64. That's a 192. So 22255. Dot 192. Here's my 25th and my 26th one, the slash 26. So this is how you subnet by locations, or excuse me, this is how you subnet by PCs. If you have any questions on subnetting, please feel free to contact me. This is a very important concept that you need to know for all of your Cisco classes continuing forward. Thanks for watching.